Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
May I present to you the cat?
I am the dog. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing.
Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your real host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello. I am not real. Oh, wait. No. Yes, I am. We're good.
Yep. And Caleb.
I'm really wishing that I would have thought to pull up the AI voice for just right now so that I could. I didn't think that far ahead to prepare that, listener, and I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. It was off the whim. But, listener, we're just kind of alluding to our last episode, our 300 episode, which we did completely generated by AI. Now, we're going to go into a little detail about it, kind of tell you how we did it and how we still don't trust AI for anything. But it's pretty fun. So, at first, we were talking about it. We were like, man, we should do something for our 300th episode. What should we do? I mean, we thought about all sorts of stuff. I think one of the first things is we thought maybe some spinoff of the movie 300.
That was something I floated.
Yeah, we tried. We were thinking about that one. I mean, there was a couple other things, but then who was it that just said we should do it all in AI? Was it Landon?
I think it was Landon.
That was me, yeah.
I think so. You said it, and it just I think right there we were just like, oh, deal, because we were just covering all this AI stuff, and I was like, this is perfect.
Well, it was right after we had recorded the episode talking about how bad. I don't even know what episode it was, but it was something we just went off on how bad AI is. And it was after that episode, I'm like, oh, we should just do our whole episode in AI.
Just generate it with AI.
Yeah. So it was pretty fun getting that together. I mean, I'll be honest, those two did most of the work. I mean, it's crazy what came up of it, but I mean, it was kind of cool. You guys want to say anything about the experience?
It was. I will say, I've been saying it for a few months now, listener, if you have been paying attention. AI, as it currently stands, generative AI is a toy. And so I had a lot of fun playing with it to make that episode. It was a ball. I had a great time, but I would not recommend that you actually use any of those tools for anything even remotely approaching like a production workflow. Don't. just don't. So because the voices, we did the voices, and I will say that a lot of the AI services that will generate voice like recordings, they tend to be very heavily locked down. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would be way too easy to just grab an hour of audio off of the internet of somebody talking and just feed it into an AI and get a really convincing replica of their voice. And you could honestly just have the AI say, sorry if I sound weird, I've got a cold. And that would excuse it for the vast majority of people over the phone, So they're locked down pretty hard. Honestly, the easiest voice generative AI type thing to train a custom voice that sounds like yourself, listener, is on your iPhone. If you've got one, they've got it's an accessibility feature where you can generate a personal voice for yourself that you can then enter text into on your iPhone and have it read back in your voice. And, they created the feature for use with folks that are losing their voice so that they can kind of capture that aspect of themselves that, they're losing and continue to use it and have that available. And I think that's really cool. It's a great feature. And it's also probably the easiest way to train an AI of your own voice if you have an iPhone. And it happens all on device right there. So none of that is being transmitted, and you can't train it with pre-existing audio. Like, you have to sit down with a microphone and read about 15 minutes worth of voice prompts in order to train this thing. So it's pretty secure in terms of people can't, bad actors can't use it to generate voices of people off of the internet. So that's good. But
Yeah.
that was, so like it's a tool that you can use probably, for a preservation aspect more than anything else. Like if you've got a grandparent that is failing, maybe go have them read these 15 minutes worth of voice prompts and you'll be able to grab a snapshot of their voice that you can have read bedtime stories to your children or something like that. I don't know. It gets a little creepy when you start thinking about it in those terms.
I would just say, just record your parents or grandparents reading these bedtime stories.
That's probably a better idea. That's a much better idea.
I mean, if you want to terrify your kids when they're little young, and stuff,
right?
Then maybe do it this way. But
it's Grandpa speaking from beyond the grave. No, it was, it's a pretty good AI voice. Not amazing. There was only one thing that it said for me, like on my part of the script, that I felt like it said it the way that I would have said it. And it was the line about, cautionary tale about people making it was an AI generated Elon Musk that was telling people to send him Bitcoin or something like that.
Yeah.
And just at the very end of that, like it says, just remember, folks, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And the way it inflected, it probably is. I was like, oh, dang, that actually sounded just like me.
Yeah.
Like that's how I would have inflected that. Everything else was wrong, but that one little bit, it got that.
It definitely was interesting what it did pull from each voice, like when you'd listen.
Yeah.
And then the two different AIs, how each one was much different.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we had the section of the script that was generated by Copilot and the section of the script that was generated by Gemini, which to come to find out after the fact, apparently Gemini, at least the free version of it that you can access just straight off of Google, doesn't have access to the live internet.
I guess
it's got training data that's about 1.5 years old. And so I asked it like, hey, generate the script for a tech podcast or for the Calling All Platforms podcast, given what it pulled about us off of our website. And what it fed back was just kind of a shell, like, hey, put an introduction here and then have a host talk about one big tech story and put some discussion points here and stuff like that. Like a whole bunch of bracketed stuff that was supposed to be replaced by us. Yeah. With up-to-date news stories and stuff like that. And I was like, nah, that's not what I'm looking for. Tell me, like, give me a script that includes specific news stories. And so it did. And that's what you heard last week, listener. And I was all like, can you give me something that isn't like 1.5 years out of date? And it's all like, actually, no. It told me, no, I don't have access to live internet. I can't do that. And I was like, huh. Well, at least you're being honest.
At least you're honest.
I guess. But yeah. And oh man, the quirks in both of those. So like the Gemini one, we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast. The way that it generated it had inserts into some of the paragraphs where we were going to be asking each other questions and stuff, where the hosts were supposed to address each other. And there were a couple of times when it had, a line written for me, and then it had me ask myself a question and Wes respond to it. And I think it did that once for Wes too, where it had Wes ask Wes a question and then Landon responded to it. And I left those in. Yeah, I did not proofread. I did not fix the script. And then on Copilot, it had, a couple of times where it would say something like, oh, big or exciting news for Microsoft fans. NVIDIA's CEO did a whole bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with Microsoft.
I know.
And I'm like, what? And yeah, it was, there was one thing that was like straight up factually incorrect as well that Copilot generated. And I did a couple of scripts, and like one of my earlier scripts, it had pulled out a thing saying that Apple had put their AirPods on sale, or no, Apple had discounted the new Apple Pencil Pro and had made the analytical statement that like the Apple Pencil, oh, this is Apple making a big, competitive move in the portable device market. And I'm like, Apple didn't discount crap. That was an Amazon sale, you fools.
That's funny.
Apple didn't do anything. Amazon discounted this thing. Oh, it was, and then there was one that ended up in the script that was recorded last week that was also like, it was just a minor thing where it had identified something. And I was like, but that's not true. That's just not actually what it is. And I went back and looked at the sources for that because it gave me sources for every single point in there. So, credit for that, Copilot. Except the sources that it had was a list, like they all linked to the same website, the same web page. And that web page was an aggregate of headlines from, I want to say, PC World or maybe The Verge or something like that.
Oh.
It wasn't any of the actual articles that talked about these stories. It was just the page that aggregated the headlines. So it was literally just summarizing the headlines of a bunch of Verge articles. And I was all like, that is the worst way you could have possibly gone about gathering this information, Microsoft. Like, what the heck?
To be fair, that's how most people that use Facebook get their news.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I like to think in my fantasy world that humans will actually click on a couple of the headlines that interest them and read the articles instead of just reading the headline and forming an entire opinion based off of literally 10 words. I know that's wrong, but, let me have my illusions.
I like to try to be optimistic about the human race.
Yeah, it's the AIs that are at fault, not the people.
That's what it is. Man, it was pretty fun to do, but I guess we'll go ahead and move on unless we have anything other comments or anything on there. Landon, do you have anything you want to add?
I will say my favorite, I had a lot of fun doing this just in general, but my favorite part was the music. And I also will say that so far, of all the generative AI stuff that I've personally used and also have seen other people using, the music one is by far the best at what it does. And like I had heard about, like I've heard songs generated by AI and different things, and it's like, oh, those were pretty good. And then when I actually went and did it, I'd heard about this Suno.com is what I used. I'd heard about them, so I'm like, I'm gonna go there because I've heard stuff from there. It's pretty good. The prompt that I put in there was extremely basic. I didn't tell it, like all I said was create an intro for a podcast called Calling All Platforms. And that's all I gave it. And I don't know exactly where it's getting its information from. It had to have gotten stuff from our website, I'm assuming, because I didn't tell it that we talk about tech news. I didn't tell it we talk about gaming or any of that stuff. And it got that in the lyrics. And I was very impressed. And each prompt gave me 2 different songs. So I actually did 2 different prompts. And so I got 4 songs total. And the first 2 songs both have the same text, and the second 2 songs have the same text. They're just different styles of music for each different one. But I was thoroughly impressed with that AI. So again, I wouldn't use that as anything professional by any means, but for fun, it's great. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And
I was surprised at the music too.
That's where it gets hard too, because for certain genres of music, the generative AI songs are honestly, they kind of slap. Like if you want just a pop song, it's pretty dang good. And I can't remember who it was. It like KFC or somebody had auto-generated music in one of their one of their commercials that was airing on I can't remember. It was like on primetime TV somewhere. It wasn't like just a small internet ad campaign. It was like a major ad campaign, and they were using AI generated music for it. And Adam Neely over on YouTube, he's a YouTube music educator, I guess you would call him, did a whole video talking about AI music and like what counts as like what is a musical Turing test, and has AI gotten to the point where it's like actually in that vicinity. And he went into a lot of detail about this, and he just made a statement toward the end of the video. He's like, I think the thing that makes me the most angry about this is actually that this song is like good. Like it's super catchy and like it's stuck in my head. I want to sing it. And he like does a little bass solo along with the song, and it's actually really cool. And he's just like maybe that's the most frustrating part about this, is that like at least in the realm of commercial music, like where you are writing a song for a brand or for a movie or something like that, we've gotten so predictable that this kind of thing can, like, computers genuinely can replace human composers and producers in that realm. And you know, it was an interesting little video, but I think you're probably right. Like I've never seen a piece of AI art that was convincingly not AI art, you know? Like I've seen really cool pieces of art generated by AI, but all of them were all like, they just felt so derivative, you know? Like to the point where I'm like, it doesn't, there's nothing human here, and you can kind of feel it, even if you can't specifically tell. And AI voices and AI generated text of any kind, it's all still like, just speech is more complicated than computers can handle. It's just so much more complicated. But the songs, I listened to the songs, some of them, and there's moments I'm like, oh, was this just an actual producer like working on a tight timeline? And so they were kind of just like, I'm just going to do what feels familiar and comfortable to me and just, you know, crap something out for a paycheck.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like. Like people do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
And like, I didn't go into any detail on these prompts. Like I could have added, like, make it a certain genre or different things like that. But I just went with what it gave me, and I was happy enough with that. So, and it was funny because as I'm listening to them, I'm over here like jamming out. I'm like, this is a good little beat. I like this. You know, it was fun.
It's not bad. They're not bad at all.
I mean, maybe if we ever do that again, maybe I'll like do a heavy metal version or something. I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
See what AI can do when it comes to that.
You should do a country version.
We'll have one country version, one heavy metal, you know. Both ends of the spectrum there.
I wonder if you could say in the genre, not genre, but in the vein of Beach Boys.
I'm sure you could.
Oh yeah.
Or how would you say that to AI? Like not in the vein, but in the style?
Yeah, in the style,
musical
of Beach
stylings
of the Beach Boys.
Yeah,
I think that would be
totally
dope.
Do that. Oh, that would be hilarious.
At least I think so. But then, actually, they probably wouldn't be too specific, because if you say in the style, well, maybe style. Because if you bring up a certain thing, they're probably like, no, we can't because it's copyright or something silly.
I mean, you could just, because surfer rock is a genre, and that's what the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys pioneered surfer rock as a musical genre, so you could just say a surf rock version of, and it would give you what you want.
Also, along like with those, at least on the Suno.com, you can add your own text if you want, and just have it make the music. Like you can put your own lyrics in there, which was interesting. I did not do that. I let it generate everything, and also it was really fast. Like it generated 2 full songs in about 15 to 30 seconds is all it took. And obviously, listener, you heard what it came up with. It's a lot better than I was expecting. Pretty quick.
That's crazy. Well, and that was our 300th special episode. And then who knows what we'll do for the 400th. We'll see. We'll have to see what's going on.
And honestly, I don't know how we top that.
I know. Yeah.
That's why I was saying that we have to see what's going on in the news, and maybe we could associate with it since AI is so big right now. It's kind of worked.
Yeah, just see what's in the news cycle at the time.
But speaking of news, let's go ahead and let's get over to that section, shall we? We actually have an event here. We have the Moto Razr event.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, listener, we talked about how Motorola announced their it was an announcement for an event that they were going to be having, and they were calling it the Flip the Script event, I guess is what it was. I don't know. But it was all about the new Moto Razr and the new Razr Plus. I'm just going to go over the specs really quick on these phones. So this is the Razr Plus. It has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. Man, Qualcomm is just getting worse.
What the heck?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. So the internal display has a 6.9-inch, 165 hertz display. The outside is a 4-inch. Take that again. 4 inches. That's bigger than the original iPhone.
Whoa!
Now it's obviously a different aspect ratio. It's like a square, but
yeah,
it's a 4-inch external screen that's also 165 hertz, which, okay, Motorola, that's pretty awesome.
Wow.
It has 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which is impressive in how small this device is.
Yeah.
It's got 45 watt wired charging and 15 watt wireless charging. Launches with Android 14, obviously. The front camera is a 32 megapixel sensor, and then on the back, it's got a 50 megapixel sensor, a 50 megapixel telephoto sensor with 2x optical zoom on there. So it's just the two cameras, but both probably decent cameras. I mean, obviously we don't know yet, but hopefully. And it comes in 3 different colors: midnight blue, spring green, and my favorite, peach fuzz.
Really?
And the peach one is actually a really good looking color. It's like a nice shade of orange. And then the starting price on this one is $1,000, which, again, great on Motorola, keeping the same prices that they had beforehand for much better specs. And then the regular Motorola Razr, as we've come to coin it as the Razr Minus, because the other one's the Razr Plus.
Yes.
It has a MediaTek Dimensity 7300X chip, which that's
not great.
nearly as good, but it's fine. The screen on the inside is a 6.9-inch, same size, 120 hertz refresh rate. Then the outside is a slightly smaller 3.6-inch display at 90 hertz, which both of those are still massive upgrades to what the original Razr Minus had. So that's nice. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, same 256 gigs of storage, a bigger 4,200 milliamp hour battery, 30 watt wired charging and 15 watt wireless charging. And then camera wise, the front camera is the 32 megapixel, and then on the back it's got a single 50 megapixel. Oh no, it's got still doubles. It's a 50 megapixel sensor, but then the other one's a 13 megapixel ultra wide. So different sensors there. This one comes also in 3 different colors: a koala gray, beach sand, and spritz orange. These names are very interesting, but I like them.
Interesting.
And then this one, the price on it is $700. So again, Motorola absolutely killing it for the pricing on flip phones, and the specs are not horrible, especially on the Razr Plus. I really like the specs on that one. And I mean, the Razr Minus, in my opinion, for $700, what you're getting is a great deal, I think. But those are the new Motorola flip phones. I'm impressed so far with what I've seen of them. I like their cover displays. I think they do a lot better on the software side than Samsung does when it comes to those outside displays. They're a lot more usable with how large they are. But yeah, I really like them. Caleb seems to be in shock for some weird reason.
I'm just at $700 again. By the time the iPhone launches this year, I could probably get one for $5. I could probably get one for $500.
I mean, that is fair. The Razrs have pretty much been on sale since their launch last year. So, yeah, probably.
I mean, they'd look really good, too.
I mean, yeah, you could
look pretty good.
Yeah.
Surprised,
yeah.
You know.
This and it's like, it's got the wow factor. That outside screen looks super sharp, especially on the Plus, but honestly, even on the minus now. The screen on the minus is like kind of makes the Samsung Flip. I mean, it's about the same size now as the one on Samsung's Flip phone, or no?
Theirs have always been smaller.
Samsung's is still only taking up like half of that rear space there. I don't know. Yeah, it makes the Samsung look like a turd, and it costs like $500 less, $600 less, something like that.
I think their main one starts at $1,200. Or I guess they only have the one flip phone. So yeah, I think it's either $1,100 or $1,200.
Oh my heck. That's just if it wasn't the fact that I was going to get locked into probably no major OS updates, very possibly no actual software updates, and who knows what kind of software is shipping on Moto devices these days. I have not used one in years.
They are relatively stock Android, like very similar to Pixel. They do have a few little tweaks here and there that actually have gotten really good. Like this Motorola stuff that's inside is actually pretty useful and beneficial. So actually the software side of things is not bad, but you are correct on the updates.
Yes.
Ever since Lenovo has bought Motorola, the updates have not been great. So that is definitely something to keep in mind.
Oh, man. That is so tempting in a world where I just know that this year's iPhone is going to be incredibly underwhelming. And not just because they won't be shipping a small-sized phone. Like, to be clear, anything that isn't an iPhone mini is underwhelming to me now. Since they shipped the perfect phone back with the 13 mini, and I don't know, can't get over it.
Oh, but those Razr phones, they look pretty
that
cool.
Folds in half, man.
Yeah.
That's also pretty dang small.
Yeah. And if you're feeling the nostalgic bug, remember back in the day with the original Razr, they had that bright pink version. They have that here. I don't know what color it's supposed to be, like the name of it, but looking at the pictures, they have that bright pink that is very flashy, and it's actually a really good looking color. So if you're nostalgic for that, there you go. You got that back as well.
Mean, let's be honest, like everybody else in the late 2000s, that didn't have a Razr. I wanted one. Gosh dang.
I did have one. And it was funny because like I knew so many people that had that phone, and they always complained that theirs were breaking all the time. Like I could and did throw mine against a wall, and it never broke. It was it was the most durable phone I've ever had. Surprisingly, for how thin and flimsy that thing could get, it was great.
I mean, it was no Nokia, but
no, definitely. I mean, no phone is a Nokia phone. Like the 90, nothing can compete with that.
No, the Nokia bricks were the ones that shipped with anti-theft. And you just
throw it at someone.
Huck them at the person that was trying to steal it from you. What commercial was that? I can't remember. It was an advertisement for a phone, I want to say. Somebody's all like, "Hey, that's a nice phone you've got." He's like, "Yeah, it's got an anti-theft feature too." And they're like, "Really? Wow." And then somebody runs up and tries to "Hey, give me your wallet." And he throws the phone at him and knocks him out with it. That's the anti-theft feature. I can't remember what that was for, though. Oh, good times. Good times.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, those are the new Motorola Razr phones for 2024. Yeah. I like them.
Good job, Motorola.
I'm trying to find the release. So, let's see. They will go, Motorola says they're launching both of these phones at the same time, and you can pre-order them on July 10th, is what it says, and then you can buy them in store on July 24th. So
Okay.
keep that in mind. So just next week, you'll be able to pre-order the phones. And again, $700 and $1,000 for these phones is, I still think, is the best bang for your buck if you want to get this style of phone.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next event. This happened actually the week prior where we did our 300th episode. But Nintendo, we wanted to mention something. Nintendo, they had a Direct.
Yeah, Nintendo
Wait.
happened.
This could not have happened that week because obviously the AI gave us the most recent news.
Totally. I can't imagine.
How funny if they were like, good news, Xbox people, Nintendo did this. Nintendo is making Gears of War.
I mean, apparently it's big news for Microsoft fans that Jensen Huang is selling stock. Like, yep. No, yeah, there was a Nintendo Direct, listener, and weirdly, neither Copilot or Gemini managed to pick up any details about that. But we did get updates about the upcoming PSVR 2, which is a year old. So, anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, Nintendo Direct. It was an event. It happened. If you're really big into Nintendo games, I am sure you have already seen this. If, however, you are a parent of children who are big into Nintendo stuff, you might not have heard what they talked about, but you're probably going to want to know about it sometime in the next few months. So here's a quick rundown of the major points that Nintendo made. I guess first and most prominently is when we talked about all the video game stuff a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that there were a few games that nobody talked about during Summer Game Fest and that kind of thing that I was like, I'm pretty sure these are all dead and they're never actually going to launch. One of those things that I did not mention in that list because Nintendo's Direct hadn't happened yet, but I was convinced it was on that list, was Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo actually talked about it. Like 5 years ago, we got a title drop for well, not even a title drop, just a title card that said Metroid Prime 4, and that was it. That's all they said about it. They haven't said jack since then. And then at Nintendo Direct, they're all like, hey, here's a gameplay trailer. It's called Beyond. And it's coming out at the beginning of next year. Oh. Okay. So yeah, apparently Metroid Prime 4 actually happening. Cool. There was all, what were the other stuff they talked about? Oh, there's a new Link's Awakening style Legend of Zelda game. So not like, Breath of the Wild type, this big expansive RPG thing, but more like the remake of Link's Awakening that came out 3 years ago, whenever that was. It's called a name that I can't remember, but I do remember the most important fact about this is that you actually are not playing as Link in this one.
Like something of wisdom.
Yeah, something like that. It's The Legend of Zelda. You're playing as Zelda. Like you are Zelda. Player character is Zelda.
Finally get to.
So now your grandma will be like, "Oh, are you being Zelda today?" And you can be like, "Actually, for the first time in 25 years,
actually, grandma,
yes,
yes, I am."
Except for that one time you accidentally purchased a Philips CDI and played that horrible FMV game.
Oh yeah,
on there. In which case, that wasn't a fever dream. I'm sorry. So yes, that's coming end of this year. Alongside, there was a new Mario something or other called Brotherhood or something. It's not an Assassin's Creed game, I promise. I checked.
Yeah, Mario Brotherhood. Could you see those two under a cloak and hood with daggers coming out of their sleeves?
Yeah. So it's like a co-op type, 2-player mostly. I'm assuming there's a single-player mode as well, where it's Mario and Luigi doing platforming stuff. I don't know. Didn't really pay that much attention. The one that I did pay a little bit more attention to, marginally so, is there's a new Mario Party coming called Jubilee, I think. Or Jamboree.
Jamboree Jubilee.
There was something like that.
This is great podcasting right here.
Look,
you should have gone with mine, Ginormous. Mario Party Ginormous.
I know for a fact I'm going to be buying that sometime next year because one of my kids is just over the moon with Mario Party. He loves it. and nobody else does, but we play
No
with him
one
because we
else
feel bad. It's Mario
Ugh.
Party, man. It's just like it's like playing Chutes and Ladders with extra steps. Anyways,
Yes.
there was another one I'm forgetting. Wes, what was it?
Oh, jeez.
We talked about Metroid, we talked about Zelda, we talked about Mario, and also more Mario. Oh, Dragon Quest 3 is getting a remake.
Oh,
They talked
yeah.
about that. That's coming at the end of this year. They also teased that Dragon Quests 1 and 2 are also going to be getting remade next year, I think. So Dragon Quest, as a, it's one of the foundational JRPGs from back in the day, so getting a full-on remake that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got nostalgia for the franchise, which I don't. I have never actually completed a JRPG. They just don't vibe with me real well.
You call Final Fantasy VII a true JRPG?
Final Fantasy VII's a JRPG. Absolutely.
So I've completed a JRPG then.
There you go. You got one under your belt. Can I tell you how far I made it into Final Fantasy VII? About an hour.
Yeah.
Which is to say, I approximately 0.01% of the game.
Yep.
It's like,
Dude,
it's like a
there's so many
120
hours.
hour game. I've played like an hour of it. So yeah, and same thing with Final Fantasy VI too. Everyone was all like, "Oh, Final Fantasy VI is great," and I'm all like, "Cool." I played it for about 30 minutes, and I'm like, "Nah." And then everyone's like, "Oh no, you should try Final Fantasy VII because it's like 3D. It's more modern. You'll love it." And I got about an hour into it, and I was like, "Eh."
Yeah.
So that's okay. Different opinions for different folks. I made it about 16 hours into Knights of the Old Republic before I realized that I had not gotten up to use the bathroom since I started playing. So I definitely engage with different games in different ways.
Yes, you do.
I'm not going to argue against the impact that the Dragon Quest franchise has had, though. So
I hate to see your hours and game time of your sessions for Age of Mythology.
Dude, it's a really, really good thing that back in the day, games did not track your playtime like they do now.
Right?
Because
you'd have a lot of time in there.
I sat down back before Diablo 4 came out to try and to think and try and figure out how much time I have spent with the Diablo franchise since I started playing. And most of that time was with Diablo 2, but a good chunk of it was with Diablo 3. I can go and look at Battle.net and see here's how many hours you've played Diablo 3.
Yeah.
And it's not a ridiculous amount. It's like 40 or something like that. It's not huge. But Diablo 2, I have had installed on 5 different computers with 3 different battle chests and under 3 or 4 different Battle.net accounts. And for most of that time, they weren't tracking playtime and stuff like that. But honestly, thousands of hours into Diablo 2. Yep. And I started playing Diablo 2 a long time after I started playing stuff like Age of Empires 2 and Age of Mythology. Both of those games easily a few thousand hours into those. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Which is why, Microsoft, you better not screw up this Age of Mythology remaster. I swear.
Hey, you liked the Age of Empires ones.
I did. I have not actually played much of Age of Empires 2 remastered, even though I did buy it. That's one that I was all like, oh yeah, that's on Game Pass. And I'm like, cool. It's also on Steam. And I went and bought it because vote with your wallet, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, vote with your wallet. Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, there was definitely other stuff they talked about at Nintendo Direct, but those were kind of the big franchise tentpole moments that were discussed and the stuff most people are going to care about. So there you go.
That was the Direct. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. Got some Apple news here. Got the Butterfly keyboard payouts. We're starting soon.
Yep. So listener, if you ever used a Butterfly keyboard from Apple, you're entitled for compensation for that trauma in your life.
As you should be.
Yes.
So a few years back, there was a class action lawsuit filed against Apple regarding the butterfly keyboard. Not how terrible it was to use, because honestly, personal preference, okay? And for me personally, frankly, it was a really noisy keyboard, but I recorded the single fastest typing test that I have ever done on a butterfly keyboard. So, like, it works for me. I learned how to type on low travel, mushy as crap laptop keyboards. Never really learned how on like a good keyboard. And so like mechanical key switches and keyboards that have a lot of throw on the keys bug the crap out of me. And honestly, a really, really good like glass surfaced, touch sensitive keyboard would work great for me, just so long as there's some kind of haptic feedback motor giving me, you know, a little tick every time I push I tap on the keys. So the butterfly keyboard was never a problem for me. I understand why some people were upset with how it typed, but that's not what this class action lawsuit was about. Class action lawsuit was about the fact that it was a piece of crap in terms of longevity and maintenance. And so the class action lawsuit was granted, and Apple was found culpable, and they're having to pay out money to anybody who was affected by longevity issues as a result of having a Mac that had a butterfly keyboard on it. So if you had to have the top case of your laptop replaced more than twice, then, or two or more times, I think, then you're eligible for over $300 or something like that from Apple. If you had to have it replaced one time, you're eligible for like 150 or something like that. And if you had to have keycaps replaced in order to fix your keyboard and get it functional again, then you're eligible for up to like $50 or something like that, just depending on how many it was. It's based on the cost of the repairs that you've got receipts for and that kind of thing. But if you had an Apple laptop, you had issues with the butterfly keyboards, you had to have them fixed, you may be entitled to compensation. And you theoretically should have received an email about it last year. So if that's you, payouts are going to start coming your way.
You know, the thing that this makes me think of is, why has there not been any sort of lawsuit against Apple for the Magic Mouse?
I think
because was just such a bad product.
It is so difficult to tie something like a repetitive strain injury or carpal tunnel to a specific device.
Yeah.
You know? Because like I have a fairly ergonomic mouse now, but if you aren't using it correctly or you're using it too much, you can totally still get an RSI from an ergonomic mouse. So just the fact that people who use the Magic Mouse are probably like 1,000 times more likely to wind up with carpal tunnel is very difficult to prove in a court of law. So I'd imagine that's probably why.
Well, I don't even care if it's like a legit version or a reason why Apple is getting sued. I just want them to get sued because it's such a bad device.
It's emotional damage. It's all like, I'm gonna take you to court over the trauma that this mouse has caused.
I mean, worst case, Apple should have to pay lawyers a bunch of money to defend why they think the Magic Mouse is a good product.
If only, man. If only.
I've got to go back to this. I mentioned this to Caleb a while back, but I have to mention it on the podcast. Listener, if you haven't watched Marquez Brownlee's interview with Tim Cook from WWDC, you need to go and watch it because he specifically asked Tim Cook about the Magic Mouse. And you could see Tim just really struggle to try to defend the design on that thing. He did. He tried. And he came up with words that made it sound like he enjoyed it, but I guarantee he does not use it.
My favorite part about that exchange was how it was right after he'd asked him about the iPad.
Yeah.
It's all like, what kind of impact do you think the iPad has had on Apple? And Tim says a bunch of stuff like, introducing the iPad, that was a big day for Apple. Like that changed the way that we think about these things and that kind of stuff. And then Marquez follows up with, okay, now how about the Magic Mouse? And Tim's like, ooh, yeah.
Magic Mouse.
When we introduced the Magic Mouse, I mean, it wasn't as big a day as the iPad, but still an important milestone for Apple. And Marquez, the look, he's like, what? That was a milestone? My guy, you're not fooling anyone.
I mean, it was a milestone, but in the wrong direction.
That's funny. Okay, let's go ahead and let's move on. We have some Google news. Made by Google event has been announced. And what day? Landon.
Well, okay. So, listener, you might be, if you haven't seen this already, then you're going to be surprised because Google generally has their Made by Google event in October. And, like, they have, I'm trying to remember what the first Pixel Fold, when they announced that. Was it in August? I can't remember. It was
I think so.
Yeah, maybe. And so, anyways, Google I first saw this on Instagram because I follow the Made by Google account, and they put out a video kind of sort of hinting at some sort of event, and then all of a sudden, like, they had a bunch of Roman numerals with the date, and then it formed into a 9. It's like, oh, this is for the Pixel 9 in August? So, listener, the date is August 13th, 2024, and apparently they're going to be announcing the Pixel 9 series of devices, which, again, their Pixel phones have all come out in October. Like, every single one. The first one was announced October 4th of 2016, I think. And it's been that way since, beginning, middle of October area. But apparently they want to move everything to August, I guess, this year, which does kind of make sense. I mean, they probably wanted to move it earlier just so they could justify keeping the price at a, full price for more than a few weeks, because they would always drop in price for Black Friday. And that was only about less than a month away from when they announced the device usually. So they want to keep it at full price for a little while. So that's fine. But they couldn't go in September because that's always when the iPhone is announced. And you can't do it before the iPhone because that's like the very first week of September when everyone's on vacation or, doing stuff like that usually for holidays. You can't do it after the week after the iPhone because it's the week after the iPhone. Everyone's still going to be talking about the iPhone. So let's just go in August because, okay, whatever. It's just very strange. I don't fully understand, but I kind of, in a way, get it. It's just weird.
Yeah, I understand the desire to try and consolidate. And I think it makes sense to consolidate ahead of the iPhone event rather than after it.
Yeah, I agree.
But, yeah.
Because, they are, like, what we're expecting to see at this device or this event is the Pixel 9, Pixel Fold 2, and the Pixel Watch 3. So, and they're also supposed to be having the, 3 different Pixel 9 phones. Now, what those all are, we don't know. So, that should be fun because there were leaks that the Pixel Fold 2 is going to be called the Pixel Fold 9 Pro or something. I don't remember. It was some stupid name.
Some awesome name.
Obviously, we'll have to wait and find out, but I really hope it's not that because that would be absolutely awful.
That'd be silly.
But yeah, so if you were looking to get a Pixel phone this year, you might be able to get one a little earlier. That all depends on if you bought it through your carrier or not, because if you bought it through your carrier, you may still have to wait till October when you bought it beforehand because you're on a payment plan system or what the contract that's not a contract type thing.
Yeah.
So I know plenty of people that's like, oh, I want to get this phone, but I have to wait till October or November because that's when I bought the last one. It's like, oh,
yeah,
that's unfortunate. So, but there you go. Made by Google event, August 13th. So, yay.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into some general tech news. Samsung Unpacked. They've also announced.
Yeah, and not to be outdone, because Samsung in the past has had their fold phones come out in August. And it's funny because the Galaxy S phones have started to go earlier and earlier. They were originally announced in like April, and then it became March, and then it was February, and this year was January. So I think I mentioned in that episode, it's like, well, it's going to be the case where they're just going to announce it on New Year's Eve because why not? But
Yeah.
because it almost seems like Google and Samsung were talking to each other about these events. Like Google was like, hey, Samsung, we want to announce our phones in August. Can you move your announcement? And they're like, oh, sure, we'll just go before you because they have to go before.
Right.
So Samsung Unpacked will be July 10th this year. So just next Wednesday, as we're recording this. We will not be able to discuss it next week, unfortunately, because, again, it's after the fact. And they are holding this event in Paris, which you would think, wait, July in Paris, isn't that the Olympics? Yes, it is. But Samsung is also a major sponsor of the Olympics. So if you see people walking into the opening ceremonies and stuff, all the athletes, they'll be taking pictures of video with phones. Most likely those are going to be Samsung's because they give all the athletes a new phone pretty much right before. And they're doing this, I think, a week before the Olympics start, maybe 2 weeks before, something like that. So I'd be willing to bet that there's going to be a lot of these new Galaxy Fold phones at the Olympics.
Probably.
Fair enough.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, we are expecting the Galaxy Z Fold 6, Galaxy Z Flip 6, but other accessories as well. So there's going to be a new watch, the Galaxy Watch 7. There's going to be an even new, like a brand new watch, the Galaxy Watch Ultra, to try to compete with the Apple Watch Ultra, which, if you've seen leaks for this watch, it's very interesting. It's almost like, they're obviously competing with the Apple Watch Ultra. It's kind of that same square, squircle type shape, but the watch face is still round, so that's weird. But it's definitely more on the durable side of things than their other watches. They also are supposed to be announcing some new Galaxy Buds and some Galaxy Buds Pro, which I think it's the Pro ones, also kind of look similar to AirPods Pro. They kind of have that stem coming off the bottom, which I don't blame them, because generally if there's that little stem, the microphone is going to pick up your voice a lot better. So
yeah,
there's a reason why companies are copying that part of AirPods, because it does work better than not having that stem. And then the last thing that they are supposedly going to be announcing is the Galaxy. Well, I guess they kind of teased the Galaxy Ring, but they're going to actually officially announce the Galaxy Ring at this event. So a lot of stuff is going to be at this Unpacked. So I would imagine probably a 2-hour keynote on this thing, because that's a lot of stuff they got to talk about. Especially if there's new products like the Watch Ultra and the Galaxy Ring. They're going to be spending a decent amount of time on those, I would imagine. If you are in the market for one of these new foldable phones, though, you can right now reserve a spot to get one without, like, you don't have to put any money down or anything like that. You just give them your name and email address, and you will get at least a $50 credit to get off the phone. But there's also, I don't know exactly how this works, but apparently you can also potentially get up to $1,500 discount on pre-ordering these phones, which, I mean, if they're going to give you that, why not, you know? But I don't know, again, I don't know how you get that $1,500 discount, but you will automatically get at least $50 if you just reserve your spot right now. So, and all you have to do for that is your name and email, and you don't even have to buy the phone. You don't have to commit to buying the phone. You just have to reserve a spot for one. I think the up to $1,500 discount is if you actually put money down and pre-order the phone right now, basically. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's how they've done it in the past, where you can pre-order the phone before the announcement and get a massive discount. Which, I mean, if, you know, that may not be the worst option, because then you just get the phone and then sell it for, you know, $1,000, and you're going to make $500 off that.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
But yeah, so next week, Samsung Unpacked, all the things.
All the things. Awesome. Next piece of general tech news, Amazon Prime Day. We decided it's going to be July 16th and 17th.
Yeah, so listener, if you
Wait,
weren't...
that's 2 days.
Well,
I know.
it's like a 48-hour event. I don't know why they call it Prime Day.
Amazon.
I know. I was reading that and I'm like, that's two. In my head, I'm like, that's two, but okay.
Amazon, that's not how calendars work.
It is in Amazon land because it's been that way forever. Prime Day
Jeffy,
has always
we've
been
talked about
2
this.
days. Yeah. But I mean, if you weren't already aware of this, I don't know. If you ever have gotten on Amazon in the last 2 weeks, you knew about this already because it's all, you can't open Amazon without knowing that Prime Day is coming. So,
right.
But if there's any product out there that you have thought about getting or, wanting to get in the near future, maybe wait till Prime Day because it'll probably be on sale. But also keep in mind that some of these products slowly raise the price and then drop it just for Prime Day and make it seem like that's a really good deal, when in fact that is just a regular price that it was 2 months ago. And there are websites that can track that for you. The one that I use is called camelcamelcamel.com. They will give you a price history of whatever it is that you are looking for, and it'll tell you that if it's actually a good deal or not. So just keep in mind that most of the products on there are doing this type of thing. It might be some sort of a deal, but it may not be as big of a deal as what they're advertising it as.
Fair enough. Look forward to that if you have Amazon Prime. All right. Well, we're going to move over to some gaming news. First thing on here we got is Arc Battlemage. It's happening, but we're not positive what form.
Yeah. So, listener, you may recall that we were all like, sort of excited about the launch of Intel GPUs, dedicated GPUs. I warmed up to them over time as they made driver improvements and released software updates and stuff like that. They got a lot better. And now Intel Arc GPUs are to the point where for mid-level and low-end gaming PCs, the price to performance is actually a really good value proposition. So definitely worth looking at those if you're building a kind of a mid to low range gaming PC. So, in a GPU market that I can only describe as it's kind of hopeful that Intel might be coming up with something really interesting to inject into the market with their second iteration. Codenamed Battlemage, these new Arc GPUs have been kind of in the background of the news cycle for a while, simply because we were pretty sure that Intel was working on them. They'd shown a little bit in their roadmap slide presentations and stuff that they've given over the past year, but we hadn't really seen any indication of them existing on the market, right? And so it was kind of like, what are these going to be? We know they're doing something, but what exactly is it? So this past week, we had a couple of things, a couple of listings pop up in regulatory databases that indicate that Intel is developing new GPUs, and they are, in the process of testing them, getting trademarks for them, so on and so forth. The problem is, the last time they did this, there were a lot more listings than there are this time. So that could indicate that we're still like, we're doing early tests. This is early run stuff. It could indicate that we're a lot more efficient with it this time. We've pared down what we're listing. We know exactly how many cards we're going to be launched and stuff like that. It could also mean that this is actually just a very small subset of basically integrated GPUs that are going to be going on Intel processors. And that would be unfortunate. I want discrete GPUs from you, Intel, please. So that's sort of where we're at with Battlemage. It's in the news cycle. We know that Intel is doing something with it. They are developing additional GPUs, a second generation of ARC chips. But we don't know whether they're just developing them as iGPUs, whether they're going to be, low-end GPUs, whether we're going to see anything to compete with the high-end stuff from AMD and NVIDIA. It's up in the air right now. We don't know. But we do know they are being developed, and we should see sometime, early 2025, what exactly this ARC version 2 is. So, I'll keep you updated as details show up.
Yeah. Be nice to know. All right. Next thing in here, insiders suggesting work on high-end GPUs from AMD and NVIDIA may be slowing.
Yeah. This one is... So remember how we were excited about Intel launching dedicated GPUs because the GPU market was...
horrible.
Just
yes.
do that joke again. So a lot of the reason why we have been so frustrated with AMD and NVIDIA over the past, 5 to 7 years is because high-end GPU prices keep creeping upward and the performance improvements year over year keep decreasing. And over the past few years, it seemed like, man, you're putting way too much emphasis on on ray tracing and neural engine stuff and machine learning stuff. NVIDIA, focus on gaming, please. Let's get some gaming GPUs out there. Unfortunately, gamers, we don't have money. Apparently not enough of it. And insiders at AMD and NVIDIA have suggested that programs at both companies for high-end discrete GPUs have either had development significantly cut or straight up been canceled in favor of developing AI chips instead.
Gosh dang it.
So, cryptocurrency stole all of our GPUs for several years, back in 2020. And now AI is going to be stealing all of our future GPUs. Because not necessarily because they're taking the actual GPUs, but simply because the silicon and development effort that could be going to high-end GPUs, it sounds like AMD and NVIDIA are financially incentivized to put those resources towards AI chips instead. So, if AI itself being just generally kind of shady and sketchy on it the whole and bad for the environment and all of these other things isn't enough to sway your opinion against it, listener, how about the fact that it's entirely possible you're not ever going to be able to buy a high-end gaming GPU if this emphasis on AI continues to happen? Because AMD and NVIDIA are just going to stop making them, and the best you're going to be able to get is whatever ARC Battlemage turns out to be.
Oh gosh, don't say that.
So
don't say that.
That's where we're at.
Oh.
So I don't know how many more reasons I need to give you to hate AI, but there's another one.
Dang. Well, that's sad. We're going to move on. So, Xcloud is coming to the Fire Stick, the TV Fire Stick. So Microsoft has teamed up with Amazon to bring the Xbox Cloud Gaming to select Fire TV devices. Basically, just kind of what they did with Samsung is there'll be an app for you can download and you can cloud stream Xbox games. So with the Fire, it says here's the list of them. They'll be available on the Fire TV Stick 4K and the Fire TV Stick 4K Max. Where if you are an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate member, you will be able to connect your Bluetooth-enabled controller to access over the 100 of cloud-enabled games. The controllers, they did say, would support not only the Xbox wireless controller, the Xbox adaptive controller, as well as Sony's DualSense or a DualShock 4 controller that you can connect up to those.
Frickin' wild. Hey, Xbox. Now, make it so that my DualSense works with your frickin' games on the PC. Why the crap are there not drivers built into Windows for that yet, Microsoft? Sorry, just had to get that out there.
Yeah,
like, evidently it works. You've acknowledged right here it's a functional game controller. Just anyways.
And they did say that, and for those of you that don't have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, Fortnite remains the only free-to-play game available on Xbox Cloud Gaming. So,
oh gosh,
there you go. So if you don't have that subscription, there you go. But it does say that it will. Let's see right here. It says it will next month will be available on the Fire TV there. So if that's something you want to take a look at, there you go. More cloud gaming. I guess I tried to actually dig a little deeper to see, like, does this kind of take away Luna? There, yes, Amazon did have a Xbox
right.
or had a cloud gaming thing. I also thought about. I'm like, wait, don't they have one?
Man,
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I keep forgetting that thing exists. You know?
Yeah. So I don't know.
As far as I know, they didn't kill that off yet.
Like, yeah, as far as I tried to look, I didn't see anything if they had brought it up or anything. But who knows, if this takes off, they may just be like, Microsoft will partner with you. You just keep giving us your stuff for the Amazon Video stuff, like the Fallout show and all this other stuff. Might be a deal there. Who knows? But yeah, that's available for everybody. I also wanted to mention those of us that have played like Forza Horizon 4, the delisting of Forza Horizon 4 will happen on December 15th. The reasoning for the games to be delisted like Forza is licensing to cars, licensing to music. They're just not renewing them. Now,
man.
which kind of sucks, but something I thought was kind of cool that Microsoft is doing. If you bought any DLC, say you had this on Game Pass and you maybe bought some DLC to it but didn't buy the game, they have been giving people the game that have bought some sort of DLC, or just say if you want it and then you can give it to a friend. So they have been doing some cool stuff like that I think is cool. But
well, that's good.
But you still, you own it, if you still own it, you can still play it. They're keeping the server. As far as I know, they're keeping the servers up, but you just won't be able to buy it.
Yeah, my big question is, are they going to make it so that you don't have to have a server to play the game?
They haven't said any. I haven't looked and heard anything.
Because they really
I guess
should
we could
work
look at
on
Horizon
that.
3. We could look at Forza Horizon 3 and see if they did that.
Well, Horizon 3 launched. Wasn't there an Xbox 360 version of Horizon 3?
I think 3 came out at the beginning of Xbox
of the one, maybe.
I don't think there was 3
on our
360.
I'm fairly confident that from the beginning you could play Horizon 3 offline. Horizon 4 you couldn't, because it was like, with the real-time weather and stuff like that. Like, Horizon 4 was supposed to be the big massively multiplayer online thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, different. Like, Horizon 3 had a bunch of multiplayer options and modes and stuff like that, but it wasn't MMO the way that Horizon 4 was supposed to be. So I know that from the beginning, Horizon 4 required an internet connection to play, but it would be really nifty, Microsoft, if before you stop releasing updates for the game, you were to just push a final patch that makes it so that you can still play the game offline. Like, you can have the game and do single player modes when the servers have shut down, so that you don't pull a Ubisoft and crew this thing and just kill the entire game, and like suddenly people who have the game, own the game, have been playing the game for years, can't anymore. Because Ubisoft did that, everybody was pissed. This is a good opportunity to gain some goodwill, Microsoft. Just make an offline mode.
Maybe I'm looking through here. It just says, this is just coming from an article real fast from throughout.com. It was just mentioned that it will be no longer available to purchase after that date. It will remain playable for gamers who own it, though some live content will soon be going away. So I don't know what live content, quote unquote, is.
Yeah.
But
Well, I wonder.
That's all that it says on that note right now on that. So
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, anybody who is building a live service game who is not taking into consideration the end of life for that game is doing a disservice to everybody. Now, it's one thing if you're creating a free-to-play live service game. I feel like that's different. But if people have to pay actual pants money in order to play your game from the beginning, and it is also a live service game that's going to be continually adding content that people can pay money for over the life cycle of the game, there has to be some plan for what does the end of life for this game look like. And you really ought to be communicating that to your players up front. You know, something along the lines of like, hey, we expect this game to run for many, many years. We've got all these plans for content and updates to it. But if at some future date we shut down live support, online support for this game, we are going to have these things preserved in an offline single player mode that you will have available as a purchaser of the game. That would be fantastic. And people ought to be doing that, you know?
yeah,
You know?
I agree.
Especially like for me personally, as a person who purchased Overwatch, it would have been really, really nice to have something to show for that. You know, Blizzard? Literally
It's all
anything.
your skins. It's all your skins you got.
Yeah, I got one of those skins for purchasing the game. It was
the
not a
Noir
$40
skin.
skin. Yes, the Noir, and that was only for pre-ordering it. If you bought the game just like the base version, then it's just gone. And yeah, Blizzard would have been really nice to have like I don't know, here's an offline single player only like bots mode version of Overwatch 1 that you can play that is really boring, to be fair, but we included all of the seasonal events or something like that. So you can do the PvE stuff like, you know, the bot rush stuff, Junkenstein and that kind of thing. You can still play those. Those still exist for you on your computer, offline. It's not much, but it would go a heck of a long way to making me feel better about the fact that I spent $40 for Overwatch, a game that no longer exists.
I think you have feelings.
I do. I have a few.
So I just wanted to make people aware that's happening on there. So the next thing I wanted to mention, this isn't anything new. This is just something I've been seeing that a lot of people have been having issues with that I feel that wanted to talk about. So those of you that have been buying the Xbox 360 games, because the 360 store is leaving in less than, 29 days? It's going to be gone. So a lot of people are setting up their old 360s, buying 360 stores. Now, something that people have been asking me quite a bit about that have been buying and been like, oh, I want to play an old, or like they saw the new Gears of War and they're like, man, I want to go back and replay those old 360 games. But Microsoft, for some reason, the Xbox 360 itself won't let me sign in. I'm using my Microsoft password, but it keeps telling me it's the wrong password. So what Microsoft's done, and I just kind of wanted to throw this out there, is for anything that's on the Xbox 360 store, you have to create inside your Microsoft account an app password. It basically creates just a big long password for all these older apps. And what I've learned is that it's because of authentication, old authentication versus new authentication.
Two-factor authentication isn't supported on older devices.
Correct.
Like that, so you have to have special passwords for them.
So if you're like having issues downloading even on your new console, say your Xbox Series X or S, and you load up these games and it won't load your profile inside, because what it is when you try to play it, it's an emulator of the 360. Then it's trying to download your 360 profile and you're having issues with it. What you have to do is you go into your Microsoft account and it's in the security and sign in. You look and say, I would like to create an app password. It will give you that password, and that's the password you will use to put in to an Xbox 360 itself or on your newest Xbox, when it tries to download your 360 profile, that's the password you will use. When I looked online, apparently this is a very big thing that people had no idea. There's a lot of YouTube videos, people complaining, but this is what you got to do. And so I figured I would explain that because people are trying to buy these old games, because the 360 store's going, and they're trying to play them. They can't bring the profile because of this reason. So that's what you have to do. Go on your Microsoft account, create yourself an app password, and that's the password you'll use for your Xbox 360. Pretty simple. It's nothing new, but it's because of everyone trying to not lose out on 360 games. They're buying them really fast. They're on sale, and people are trying to turn on their Xbox 360s to buy stuff. That's what you have to do now.
Yep. As a user of archaic Apple devices, I'm intimately familiar with this. Anytime you try to sign into an old iPhone with your Apple ID these days, because, back in the day, it was just plug in your Apple ID, plug in your password, everything's good. Now it's plug in your Apple ID and your password, and then go to a different Apple device and interact with the pop-up that shows up there to get a code that you can plug into your other device that you're trying to sign in on. And those interfaces, those software interfaces don't exist on the iPhone 4S, for instance. And so you have to go into your account and do a whole bunch of stuff, and then you can generate an app-specific or a device-specific password that you can then go into this. And when the iCloud servers see the device-specific password, they're like, oh, okay, he's had to generate this password using a different Apple device, so that kind of takes the place of two-factor authentication, and then you can finally sign into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize that there was no point to doing that because you can't download any apps from the App Store because they've all been updated past the point where they work on an iPhone 4S. Like, why are you surprised by this? I don't know. I was just hoping that maybe I could. Just really wanted to play some Temple Run, okay?
I was going to say, you just really wanted to play Flappy Bird. That's what it was.
That's what it is. But also, side note, you'll have to do this as well, PC players, if you are doing the cloud streaming of a 360 game to the PC. Same idea. It'll still try to emulate. Like if you want to play Gears of War 1 on your PC using obviously controller, and it's for the Xbox, it'll be still an emulator they use to cloud stream to your PC, which you will need to do as well. I know this because someone had asked me about it. We worked it out and we did the app password thing and it worked. But before they were having such issues and were very frustrated. So you will have to do this app password. So same with you, PC. If you're playing, like I said, it's for just the console. There's not like a PC version, quote unquote, but you're still playing, say, the original Gears of War, and you want to play it on your PC, but you're cloud streaming it. It'll do the same thing. So I just wanted to bring that up just because I've run into quite a few people asking me this question ever since they saw the Gears of War trailer, actually, and obviously the list or the store going away. People are buying and trying to see if it works and stuff. So you'll have to do that as well. So,
well, I mean, if it's just an emulator anyways, on a PC, you can just download emulators for the Xbox 360.
It's true.
Just saying.
All right. That's it for our gaming news we have here. And I think that's actually the end of our episode here, unless, Landon, you got one more thing for us?
No.
You need to come up with a sound that's just like a wah wah.
That wait gets longer every time.
Every time. Drum roll. Anyway. All right, dear listener, we appreciate you listening to the end of the episode. Starting another 100 episodes, hopefully, to our march to 400 episodes. Who knows what we'll do for that 400th episode, but we appreciate you listening this far. If you want to get a hold of us, you can on all of our social media platforms. You can take a look at the brand new video that came up on our
posted one
on our YouTube channel. I actually saw that.
Tides you over for another year, listener.
If you want to take a look at that video, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and whatever else the cool kids are doing these days to, say, hey, I watched it. All right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.